If alongside eventually a very tardy Buddy Tarbotton. And we are at the Battle by the Bay Showcase event here again, as I said, at Atlantic City High School. And we've got one of the best, at least on paper, regular season matchups that we've had in a long time here on 98.7 The Coast, as two Cape May County teams, two big Cape May County rivals in Wildwood Catholic and Middle Township, taking the floor here in the last of the last game of the three-game early session here on Saturday afternoon. There's many other games, a couple more games here later today, a couple more games tomorrow here at the Battle by the Bay, one of the best showcase events in South Jersey for high school basketball, and really one of the first. There's a lot of these showcase events that have popped up. There seems to be one every weekend when you hit about mid-January on, but this Battle by the Bay has been established for years. We've got a real good crowd here today, probably more than half full at Atlantic City's rather large gymnasium. And again, if you're listening to us on 98.7 The Coast, you can go to 987thecoast.com and watch Matt Ulmer's live video stream. And this game pits two very good basketball teams. Wildwood Catholic comes in here at 12-3. They lost to Cherokee last night at a showcase event at Bishop Eustace. Middle Township comes in at 13-3. And joining us right now, we have our ultimate pleasure to be joined by Mike McGarry of the Atlantic City Press. And what a great event here, Mike, and especially for the people in Cape May County. This is a very good game at this event for Middle and Wildwood Catholic.
Yeah, it's actually, two really big games today. First, this one here, and then, of course, CBA St. Augustine at 6:30. Just a great Saturday, afternoon to early evening of high school basketball here at the Battle by the Bay.
What do you think in this matchup, Mike? You got Middle, one of the best defensive teams in the CAL, and Wildwood Catholic, arguably the best offensive team in the league.
Well, I think it comes down, like you pointed out, I think it comes down to tempo. I think Middle Township has got to try to slow Wildwood Catholic down. If this scores in the high 70s, if Wildwood Catholic scores in the 70s, they're going to win the game. If Middle can keep it in the 40s, low 50s, then Middle Township has a shot to win the game. I think Middle Township has to sink a couple threes of their own and survive Wildwood Catholic's hot shooting.
And there's a lot on the line here, Mike, especially for Wildwood Catholic. And the way I have it figured out, and a few people have it figured out, they win today, they get a home game in the first round of the state tournament. If they lose, they probably don't. And then this game also will go a long way to affect Cape Atlantic League playoff tournament seeding as well for both teams.
Exactly. Right now, if you kind of look at it, I think most people would kind of put Wildwood Catholic in that 3 slot behind, St. Augustine and Atlantic City right now. And I think most people would put Middle Township in that 4 slot. So, you could see a switch here depending on this game. And for Wildwood Catholic, a home game in the playoffs is everything, because a road game could mean a 3-hour bus ride above the Raritan Bridge.
Yes. And if you live in Cape May County, you might not even know where the Raritan Bridge is. Trust me. We think everything north of Atlantic City's North Jersey. All right, thanks to Mike McGarry. He'll join us perhaps at halftime if he's available. And we'll be back right after this with the start of this one. Wildwood Catholic and Middle Township live at Atlantic City High School on 98.7 The Coast. Battle by the Bay, Wildwood Catholic and Middle Township. Middle Township coached by Tom Farraco. Well over 700 wins on his resume. They will be the home team. They're wearing the home whites trimmed in black and orange. They will start an all-senior starting lineup. And it's interesting because with these two teams, both teams basically starting 4 guards and a big. So they're very similar in that regard, even though they play different styles. For Middle Township, as I said, all seniors. Laverne Fitzpatrick, Tim Toney playing the traditional guard positions. Will Neal and Frank McLaughlin are technically, I guess, forwards, but they're really sized and play like guards. And Joe Fowler, the 6'4 senior, will play in the middle. For Wildwood Catholic, they're wearing the away blues trimmed in black and white, coached by Dave DeWeese. They come into the game at 12-3. They did lose to Cherokee 61-55 last night at a showcase event at Bishop Eustace High School. And as I said, they will start 4 guards and a big as well. It'll be Ryan Legler, a junior, Caleb Fields, a sophomore, DJ Smith, a senior, his brother Trey Smith, a junior, playing the 4 guard spots, and Mike DeCave, the 6'7 senior, who transferred from Lower Cape May, sat out the first 30 days, became eligible to play for the first time about 2.5 weeks ago. And this has been a game ever really since it was kind of set up back well before the season started, that a lot of people interested in high school basketball in Cape May County were really anticipating. We've got a big crowd here. We know we have a big audience on the radio and on Matt Ulmer's video stream, so we hope you enjoy this one. We expect a very, very good basketball game. The officials for the game are Paul Janetta, Brian Adair, and Mike Strickland.
And, you know, Brian, in talking to the coaches, prior to the game, and also, as you had said, looking at, like last night, Wildwood Catholic travels up to Bishop Eustace to play in another showcase tournament, and they played a very tough Cherokee team. Cherokee, depending on which poll you're looking at, in the Press Elite 11, Cherokee's 8th, 9th. In the Carrier Post, Catholic's 7th, Cherokee's 10th. But last night, game after 3 quarters, but Cherokee was able to control the pace throughout the game, holding Wildwood Catholic to 55 points. And again, talking to assistant coach Scott DeWeese before this game, we're kind of, when's the last time we saw Wildwood Catholic score 55 points? Certainly not this season. We're normally used to seeing them by the half in the high 40s, if not the low 50s. But that being said, as the season goes on and you play better competition and you're playing teams with better personnel and that are coached at a higher level, that's what you're going to start to see. They face guarded DJ Smith right from the outset, and they were able to control that tempo. In face guarding DJ Smith, Brian, they held the high-scoring senior to just 5 points. So they frustrated him early, and then they were able to shut him down throughout the game. And in this contest here today, we know what Middle Township's going to want to do. Middle's going to want to come out, control the tempo, try and keep this score in the 50s. Even better, the 40s. But they're going to try and keep it in the 50s.
It'll be DeCave for Catholic, Fowler for Middle Township on the jump. And if you're watching on video, Wildwood Catholic moving from left to right across your screen, again, the Crusaders in the blue away uniforms, the Middle Township Panthers in the home whites. Paul Janetta, the lead official, walks into the center circle. And looks like we are finally ready to go. DeCave and Fowler jumping it up. Whistle about to sound. Ball is in the air. We are underway. And Wildwood Catholic controls the tip.
Looked like DeCave got that on the way up.
I think stole that tip. Should have been a violation.
He got that on the way up, absolutely.
Here's Trey Smith. Middle comes out man-to-man. Not a surprise. DJ Smith for 3. Bang. Good start for Wildwood Catholic.
And Frank McLaughlin was over there on DJ. He's got to do a better job. He's got to get out. DJ Smith picking up, hitting his first shot. That's a good sign, obviously, for DJ and Wildwood Catholic.
Here's Will Neal. Neal had 28 points against Ocean City in that game earlier this week. Fowler for 3. That's in and out for Middle Township, the baseline three. Here's Trey Smith for Wildwood Catholic. Stops, bounces along the baseline to DeCave. DeCave dribbles out, hands off to DJ Smith, back to DeCave, top of the key. Guarded by Fowler. Backdoor cut by Trey Smith, the layup is good.
And that was a very good pass from the high post. Elbow extended from DeCave. He got the cutting Trey Smith on the bounce, and Trey goes up, lays it up and in, and it's 5-0 with 6:50 to go in this first quarter. Wildwood Catholic.
Tony with it, right side to McLaughlin. He stops right elbow, jumper short. Rebound Fitzpatrick, what an offensive rebound, but he missed the layup. DeCave comes away with it for Wildwood Catholic. Got it up to Trey Smith, cross-court look, Caleb Fields. He fires a three. That is in and out, rebound to Fitzpatrick. Middle might have needed an early timeout at that basket gone in. Here's Fitzpatrick, top of the key. Flips it over to Neal. Swung left side to Tony. Tony on the floor, comes out high, in between the circles to Fitzpatrick. Dribbles once, twice, jumper is good. And that was a contested jumper there with a hand in his face, and he knocked it down. 5-2 Wildwood Catholic, 6:05 to go first quarter.
Nice power dribble by Fitzpatrick to go to his left, and he pulls up on that elbow, and as Brian called it, hand in his face.
DJ Smith tried to run a high pick and roll there with Caleb Fields. Fields didn't roll, and the pass rolled out of bounds. So a turnover for Wildwood Catholic. It's their first. Here's Fitzpatrick for Middle Township. Pounds the right-hand dribble, goes to Will Neal. Neal goes to Fitzpatrick on the right wing. Bounce down low. Fowler is fouled. Nice set play there for Middle Township. They got Fowler open on the block. Good ball fake, and he'll go to the line for two shots.
And he got DeCave up in the air to Joe Fowler with, as Brian said, that good ball fake. Good pump fake. DeCave bit. Foul gets fouled. He's at the line shooting two.
First free throw's no good. 5:43 to go first quarter. 5-2 Wildwood Catholic on top. Wildwood Catholic has a student section of about 30 to 40 kids, buddy. About half the school, I guess. Not quite. Fallon makes the second. It's 5-3.
Well, as you can see, too, Brian, to our left, Middle Township's got a nice student section.
Yes, they do. DJ Smith for three. Off the iron, no good. Fields got the offensive rebound. Kicks to Legler. Legler is bumped and fouled by Neal. Legler did a good job on a ball fake. Neal was closing out hard, and Legler put the ball on the floor and took the contact.
Well, again, Brian, last night, Ryan Legler, he struggled offensively against that Cherokee defense. He scored just 2 points. So right there you saw something a little bit different. He tried to drive that baseline, drew the contact, and he got fouled.
DeCave along the baseline, hands off to DJ Smith. Jumper is good. And Mike DeCave and Will Neal fell to the ground and got tangled up. Play probably should have been stopped, and luckily it didn't go any further than that, but there was a little pushing and shoving there. Here's Will Neal on the baseline. He's going to get called for traveling. One too many dribbles there.
And that's going to be the first turnover against Middle Township.
Timeout on the floor. 9-3, Catholic on top. Back after this on 98.7 The Coast.
Brian, a little trouble with the scoreboard right now because it did say 7-5. Now it says 7-3.
7-3. Yeah, what's 7-3? Not. I announced 9-3 at the stoppage, but it is 7-3. Here's a pass in the post. Trey Smith tied up. And a foul is called. Middle Township was looking for a jump ball there. Didn't get it. But Trey Smith did a good job of powering up and got fouled.
And they're going to call that one on number 10, the 5'10 senior guard, Laverne Fitzpatrick, his first, team's second.
First shot by Smith is good. Will Bell, Jalen Freeman into the game for Wildwood Catholic. Bell a senior, Freeman a freshman.
And I was going to say we had that little mix-up with the scoreboard. Even though Middle Township's wearing the home whites, considered the home team, Frank Savino is not on the clock.
Here is Fitzpatrick. Second free throw is missed, so it's 8-3 Wildwood Catholic. Tony goes over to Neal. Neal back to Fitzpatrick against Freeman. Fitzpatrick on the floor, bounces over to McLaughlin. McLaughlin holds, hands back to Tony in between the two circles. He'll reset the offense. Left side, Fowler. Fowler for three. Didn't get the roll. Rebound to DJ Smith. Lobbed it out to Fields. Fields top of the lane. Back to DJ Smith for three. Got it. Actually, it's on Trey Smith. Or the three-pointer was by Trey Smith is good. We have a foul away from the ball on Wildwood Catholic after the shot was attempted. So the basket counts. And the foul will go against Will Bell. But the basket counts, and it's 11-3 Wildwood Catholic out to a big lead early.
First personal foul on Will Bell, second team foul.
Joe Trombetta into the game for Middle Township for the first time. Fitzpatrick goes to Tony. Tony left side. Tony top of the key, kicks out. Will Neal baseline three, got it. And that's middle at its best when they can dribble, penetrate, and kick to a shooter. And it's 11-6 Wildwood Catholic. Trey Smith top of the key, bounces down low, and they're going to say that the ball was off of a leg of a Middle Township player and out of bounds.
11-6, Wildwood Catholic on top, 3:34 to go here in the first quarter.
Oh, great little inbound play. Layup is good by Caleb Fields and a foul. Caleb Fields set a screen and then slipped it and was wide open on the opposite block.
And again,
I say this all. I shake my head, buddy, when those plays happen, because the person guarding the inbounder has to take that pass away. And Fields completes the three-point play, and Wildwood Catholic out to a 14-6 lead, 3:30 to go first quarter.
Well, in theory and fundamentally, you're absolutely right.
Fitzpatrick hands off to Tony. Tony on the floor, goes to Trombetta. Trombetta fakes, hands off to Fitzpatrick. Whoa. Tony for three, blocked partially by Trey Smith. Fowler got the rebound, back to Tony, layup no good but a foul. And Tim Tony will go to the line for two shots.
Joe Trombetta laid a pick on the freshman Jalen Freeman that stood him straight up. Joe Trombetta at 6'2" with a wide frame, very solid, and he was able to catch the freshman that time. It was a legal screen.
Tony makes the first foul shot. DeCave checks in for Bell. Bell came on as a sub a couple minutes ago, but he already has two fouls. Tony again, and that one's good. So it's 14-8. Middle Township showing some pressure here. Field center of the floor. Got it to Freeman. Freeman into the lane. Rejected by Tony. Running the other way is Middle Township. Fitzpatrick steps in. 15-footer. In and out. Rebound to Cave. To Cave outlets to Trey Smith. Trey Smith kicks to Freeman in the corner. Caleb Fields, baseline three. Got it.
And Caleb Fields was wide open for that look from the right side beyond the arc.
Tony a drive. Rejected by Freeman. Or make it Fields, rather. Here's Freeman the other way. And we are going to have a foul on, I believe, Neal reaching in. Fitzpatrick was trying to take a charge, but That was nullified when Neal reached in.
And that is going to be the second personal foul on number 34, the 6'2 senior, Will Neal. His second, team's fourth.
Freeman's first free throw is no good. (17-8) Wildwood Catholic on top, 2:28 to go first quarter. Second free throw is also no good, and the rebound's taken down by Middle Township.
17-8, 2:20 to play here in the first quarter. Wildwood Catholic on top, Middle with the ball.
Fitzpatrick goes to Tony. Fakes a shot into the lane. Tough shot, blocked, but a foul. And Tony will go to the line for 2 shots.
Let's see, they're going to call that on. I think it's going to be on DeCave. It is. So the 6'7 senior picks up his second, team's fourth. See how long Coach DeWeese keeps DeCave in the game.
Free throw by Tony is good. .210 to go first quarter. 17-9 Wildwood Catholic. Tim Tony at the line for the second of 2 free throws for Middle Township, and that free throw is good. Middle 5 for 6 from the line so far. Middle showing some pressure. Catholic gets it center of the floor. Here's Trey Smith as they get it up the court rather easily. Trey Smith against Tim Tony. Hands off to Charles Fields. Driving is Freeman. Trey Smith for 3, that's short. Rebound to Trombetta. Trombetta hands off to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick across the division line. Fitzpatrick goes to Neal right side. Back to Fitzpatrick, swung left side to Tony. Tony bounces, goes to Fitzpatrick. Tony again between the circles. Fakes, puts the ball on the floor, takes the ball to the left wing. Stops, goes back to Fitzpatrick. Deep 3, that's no good. Rebound taken by Trey Smith. Trey Smith outlets, pass is tipped and out of bounds. Fitzpatrick nearly stole it. Pass was intended for Caleb Fields along the sideline. It went out of bounds after the tip by Laverne Fitzpatrick.
1:23 to go. It's 17-10. Wildwood Catholic on top.
Fields looking to inbound, got it to Legler. Legler bounces to Freeman on the wing. Freeman back to Charles Fields. Charles Fields drives to the basket, layup no good. Rebound brought down by Fowler. Outletted to Tony. Tony across the timeline on the left side. Flips it back to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick thought about a try down the lane, then backs away. Goes to Fowler on the right side, 30 feet from the basket. Fowler puts it on the floor, comes back out to Tony. Tony drives, kicks. Neal back to Trombetta, and he fumbled it as Trombetta was vacating the area. To the basket, that's an offensive foul. It's an easy call for the official. Charles Fields went way too far on that and barreled into Laverne Fitzpatrick for an offensive foul.
A good job that time by Fitzpatrick. Able to get there, he was set and took that charge. It's going to be the 5th team foul.
35 seconds to go in the quarter. Here's Trombetta between the circles. Trombetta for 3. It's not really his shot. He misses. Rebound by Freeman, and he's fouled by Tony.
And Tim Tony's going to pick up his first, team's 5th. 27.5 seconds to go here in the opening period. 17-10, Wildwood Catholic on top and with the basketball.
Caleb Fields between the circles goes to Legler. DJ Smith a deep 3, that's short. Rebound Fowler, wow, he got hammered by Trey Smith. No call, ball was loose on the floor. And we're going to have a jump ball. Possession to Middle Township. Well, Fowler went straight up for that rebound, got barreled into by Trey Smith, and there was no whistle.
Right in front of the official, too.
Middle with the basketball. Fitzpatrick down the lane, stops. No, lost the ball, and then it was tipped out of bounds as the quarter ends. It's Wildwood Catholic 17, Middle Township 10. Back after this on 98.7 The Coast. Sarbotten back at the Battle by the Bay at Atlantic City High School. And it is Middle Township trailing Wildwood Catholic 17-10. And the biggest thing that jumps out after that first quarter, Wildwood Catholic 6 for 12 from the floor, 3 for 7 on threes. Middle Township has made just 2 of 11 field goal attempts.
And Brian, one of the things that sticks out, Tim Toney only had 2 attempts, and Joe Fowler also had just 2. So Wildwood Catholic doing a good job getting out. Will Neal had one attempt, and that was the 3-point basket that he made.
Charles Fields behind the back dribble at the foul line, turns, jump hook, got it. That's a great move by the sophomore. Wildwood Catholic by 9, 19-10. Here's Neal. Spins away from the defensive Fields. Here's Toney. Crossover dribble, pulls up for 3, got it. No, they called a long 2. Toney with 6 points, 19-12. Trey Smith on the wing. Baseline drive off the glass, no good. Rebound Fowler. Fowler's outlet pass is stolen by Trey Smith. Fires a 3 off the iron, no good. Rebound saved inbounds by Middle. And here comes Toney. Cross midcourt. Stops. Over to Fitzpatrick on the right wing. Back to Toney. Toney driving. Took some contact, no good, but he'll go to the line.
And again, Brian, that's what Toney brings to the table for this team. He just does a great job of getting into the lane and drawing that help side defense. 2 things are going to happen. He's going to be able to kick it out to a guy to shoot a 3, or he's going to be able to get to the basket, either score or draw a foul.
Toney makes the first. He has 7 points in the game. 19-13, Wildwood Catholic on top. 6:41 to go, second quarter.
That last foul on the Crusaders was on DJ Smith. His first, team 6th.
Second free throw is good, 19-14. DJ Smith off a ball screen, goes back to Caleb Fields. He drives, pulls up, tough 10-footer over good defense from Will Neal, and he knocked it down. Football score here, early second quarter, 21-14. Wildwood Catholic on top of Middle Township. Tim Toney, left wing. Pass tipped, stolen away. Charles Fields to the basket, and his layup is good.
An easy 2 points off that turnover.
Toney, dribble kick, Will Neal for 3, no good. Air ball, missed everything. Here's Legler for Wildwood Catholic. Down the lane, kicks to Trey Smith, layup, no good, but a foul.
And they're going to call that one on the senior, Joe Falla. That's going to be his second, team sixth. Sending Trey Smith to the line to shoot 2.
First one's no good. Trey Smith, normally a dead-eye free throw shooter, is 1 for 3. He can give Catholic its first double-digit lead if he makes this free throw. And no, that one's no good. So it's 23-14. Wildwood Catholic showing a 1-3-1 zone here, buddy. Here's Tony in the corner. Neal fakes a 3. Trapped, brings it out. Cross court to Fitzpatrick. He traveled.
And Wildwood Catholic likes to throw that 1-3-1 trap in there. Coach DeWeese picks his spots.
.5:35 to go, second quarter. 23-14. Wildwood Catholic on top with the basketball. Legler. Fakes a dribble handoff, goes over on the wing to Caleb Fields. Into the top of the lane, kicks to his brother Charles. Charles down the lane, scoop shot, no good but a foul. And he'll go to the line for 2.
And again, that was a good, strong move. That time Caleb Fields catching the ball on the right side of the rim, puts it in his left hand, gets good dribble penetration, draws that foul on Frank McLaughlin, his first, team's 7th.
First free throw is good. Wildwood Catholic now with a double-digit lead at 24-14. Second free throw is also good. Catholic extending that 1-3-1 zone now, coming across into the backcourt, pass tipped and out of bounds. Middle will have it on the sideline.
Middle Township just needs to be patient offensively.
Neal goes over to Fitzpatrick, holding on the right wing, back to Tony. Tony steps in, good bounce pass to Neal, the layup is good. Tony from the foul line to the low block, finding Will Neal for the layup. Here is DJ Smith. Back to Ryan Legler. Middle Township extending its man-to-man now out on the perimeter. Charles Fields, top of the lane, and he double dribbled. That's a good call there by the official.
Well, that time the sophomore got caught over dribbling. He should have given that ball up a moment sooner, but he decided to keep it and tried to dribble through that pressure, and that caused him to turn the ball over. Wildwood Catholic's second turnover.
25-16. Catholic on top, 4:10 to go, second quarter. Fitzpatrick, head and shoulders fake. Goes toward the top of the key, dribbles it away toward the right side. Now pulls up for 3. That's off the iron, no good. Good job by Frank McLaughlin to tip it back out to keep it alive for middle for an extra possession here. Tony to Fitzpatrick, top of the key. Hands off to Neal. Neal back to Tony. Tony, the left-hand dribble into the lane. Scoop shot, no good but a foul. Tony drew contact and did a good job of just basically throwing that ball up off the backboard, hoping it would go in, but he'll go to the line for 2.
And again, that dribble penetration by Tim Tony. So explosive off that bounce. And that is going to be the second personal foul on DJ Smith. 7th team foul. Tony knocks down the first free throw.
Trombetta into the game for middle, and Freeman and DeCave back in for Wildwood Catholic. Tony's second free throw is also good. He is 8 for 8 from the line, has 10 of middle's 18 points. 25-18, Catholic on top. Here's Legler, goes to Trey Smith, back to Jalen Freeman fires a three. Got it. Tony for middle, up the foul and left corner for three. That's short. Rebound Legler. Catholic with a 10-point lead in the ball here. 3:15 to go in the half. Caleb Fields for three. Off the iron, no. Long rebound tracked down by Freeman. Freeman hands off to Trey Smith. Trey Smith holding. Uses Ryan Legler's screen. There's a steal by Laverne Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick to the basket, and we have a blocking foul on Freeman. Fitzpatrick did a good job. Freeman was in a pretty good defensive position, and Fitzpatrick did a good job to try to avoid the direct contact. Freeman slid over a little bit, turned it into a blocking foul, and Fitzpatrick will go to the line for 2 shots. And I know the man sitting to my left, Mike McGarry, loves when the officials get block charge correct. It's one of his favorite things in the game of basketball.
Fitzpatrick, as you said, Brian, able to use that body control to avoid that being called on him.
And he makes both free throws. 28-20, Wildwood Catholic on top. 2:55 to go before halftime. Legler hands off to Jalen Freeman. Freeman, a couple crossover dribbles into the lane. Offensive foul? No, we have a foul called on Fowler. I thought they might have gotten Freeman for an offensive foul. He lowered the shoulder. But this is going to send Freeman to the line for a 1-and-1.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought the initial call, because it looked, obviously from here, that the contact was initiated by Freeman by lowering that shoulder. But that's going to hurt middle, Brian, because that's going to be Joe Fowler's third personal foul with 2:46 to go here in the first half. And he is going to have to sit for the rest of this half.
Freeman makes the first, he'll get another. He's 1 for 3 from the line. He's got 4 points in the game. .246 to go before halftime, 29-20, Wildwood Catholic on top. Jalen Freeman's second free throw is good. Pass tipped as Wildwood Catholic shows pressure, but Middle Township able to retain it. Fitzpatrick in the backcourt, bounces center of the floor to McLaughlin, swung over to Neal. Flips it out high to Fitzpatrick. To Tony again. To McLaughlin. Middle just playing catch along the perimeter here. Trailing by 10. Here's Fitzpatrick. Bounces left side. Tony for 3. That's short. Legler the rebound. He has it for the Crusaders. Hands off to Caleb Fields. Out high to Freeman for 3. Off the iron, no good. Long rebound tracked down in the corner by Trombetta, and Middle has possession. Inside 2 minutes to go, second quarter. Middle trailing by 10 with the ball. Here's Neal, fakes a 3. Gets it back from Fitzpatrick. And now it's Fitzpatrick once more. Goes to Tony. Tony floater over the cave is good.
And Middle Township obviously needed that. It is now 30-22. The Panthers trail, 1:33 to go, first half.
Legler holds. About 30 feet from the basket on the wing. Lobs to DeCave. DeCave on the floor, spins, and travels. And here is Fitzpatrick for Middle Township. 1:15 to go. Middle has the ball. Neal for 3, right wing, off the iron, no good. Here's Tony, and he couldn't save it inbounds. 1:04 to go before halftime. And Wildwood Catholic with an 8-point lead here, Charles Fields back in for the Crusaders. Now we're inside a minute to play. Legler down the lane, kicks. Trey Smith for three. Bang! Wildwood Catholic by 11, 33-22, 45 seconds to go. Tony holding, goes to Fitzpatrick in the corner to McLaughlin. McLaughlin kicks to Tony. Tony for three, off the iron, no. Rebound off of Wildwood Catholic and out of bounds.
.32 seconds to play in the half. Wildwood Catholic with its biggest lead, 33-22.
Middle lobs it out deep to Tony. Now it's Fitzpatrick over to Tony. Left side, Neal. They play catch around the perimeter as Middle looks like they want to hold for one shot here. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Tony with it. Goes to Fitzpatrick, kicked in the corner. McLaughlin fakes a three, now an 18-footer off the iron, no good. Rebound picked up by McLaughlin for three at the buzzer, no good. That was from deep. And at the half, it's Wildwood Catholic 33, Middle Township 22. And we'll be back with the halftime report right after this on 98.7 The Coast, WCZT. If Buddy Tarbot and Matt Ulmer on the video, which you can see on 987thecoast.com. 33-22. Middle Township trailing Wildwood Catholic here at the half at the Battle by the Bay showcase event. And Wildwood Catholic will have, Middle Township will have possession to start the second half.
And the first 2-3 minutes of this third quarter are going to be important, Brian. Middle Township needs to get some offensive flow going. They need to be patient offensively, get a better shot selection.
McLaughlin in the corner, dribbles out, stops, 16-footer. That's not the shot I think Buddy Tarbotton was talking about. Wildwood Catholic the rebound, looking to build on an 11-point lead. Trey Smith holding, comes out high to DJ Smith, down low to Caleb Fields, and he lays it up and in. That was the easiest basket either team got all day. Will Neal fell down and was actually looking for a call from an official saying he got pushed down, and none was forthcoming.
Right, you got to bounce right back
exactly.
up.
Here's Fowler in the paint. He's stripped, got it back, and then he's pushed and fouled. And the middle will have possession underneath.
And that was a direct result down the other end. As you said, Brian, Will Neal was looking for a call. Well, the call wasn't coming. You got to bounce up. When you're protecting the basket and you're that last line of defense there, that's why Will Bell was so open.
McLaughlin for three. That might have been partially blocked by Caleb Fields. Outlet pass to DJ Smith, goes to the basket. Oh, missed the layup. Fowler gambled for the steal. That gave Smith a wide open lane, but he missed it. Middle with possession, trailing by 13. This is Wildwood Catholic's largest lead, 35-22. Floater, no good. Battling for his own rebound, and we're going to have a jump ball. Possession to Wildwood Catholic.
And it looked like one official was going to come in with a hold, and the other official came in with the jump ball, and that was the proper call. No harm, no foul. Wildwood Catholic possession. They're going to retain it anyway.
Here is Legler for Wildwood Catholic. Left side, Trey Smith. High post, Caleb Fields. Jumper is good.
With Joe Fowler's hand in his face, Caleb Fields, the sophomore, knocks it down. 37-22, 6:25 to go, third quarter.
McLaughlin steps in. His jumper's no good. Rebound taken by Catholic. And they're on the verge of turning this into a blowout, buddy. Here's DJ Smith. Dribbles to the left wing. Takes a jumper. That's no good, in and out. Rebound by Middle Township. Here comes Fitzpatrick. Between the two circles now. Stops, goes to Neal. Neal on the floor, goes to Tony. Tony, dribble kick. Fowler for three. Got it. Timeout, Middle Township. 37-25. Wildwood Catholic on top. 5:54 to go, third quarter. Back after this on 98.7 The Coast. Following the timeout by Middle, Wildwood Catholic with possession, leading by 12, 37-25. DJ Smith on the left wing, and he is fouled by a reaching Will Neal. And good job by DJ Smith there, buddy, being awfully ball strong there as Neal tried to reach in.
And Brian, that's going to be the third personal foul on Will Neal.
Zach Thomas is in the game for the first time for Middle. Here's Bell. Backdoor pass off a set play. And we're going to have a foul on Thomas on a push from behind.
And Zach Thomas, the 5'11 junior guard, he picks up his first. It's going to be the second team foul.
Now we have a delay here, as it looks like the scorer's table at Atlantic City basically buzzing the officials.
Yeah, they gave that foul to number 22. The only 22 is Mike DeCave, who's on the bench.
What they're questioning is the previous foul. The Middle Township coaches and fans are getting upset. The previous foul was on Will Neal, and that's apparently what the table did not get.
Exactly.
So they're getting that
that's
correct.
What I'm talking. Up the cave's not even in the game. What they did on that Will Neal foul was give it to 22, not to 34.
Right.
And now they correct it on the scoreboard, but it's also correct, obviously, in the stat book.
Here's Will Bell down the lane, rejected by Fitzpatrick. Middle running. Here's Tony to the basket, and his layup is good. It's a big block and a layup the other way, and Middle cuts it to 10. Middle showing pressure now. Here's Legler. And timeout called by Wildwood Catholic. 5:14 to go, third quarter. Crusaders 37, Middle 27. Back after this on 98.7 The Coast. Quarter here at the Battle by the Bay at Atlantic City High School.
And right now, Brian, Middle Township trying to make it stand as they did fall behind 37-22 with some nice defensive plays. They were able to come back and get the lead down to 10. But Wildwood Catholic with the ball, we're coming up on the 5-minute mark here in period number 3.
And here's Wildwood Catholic spreading the floor. Legler down the left side. Lost his dribble. Pass out high, tipped by Thomas. Saved in bounds. Tony has it. Tony stops. Foul line jumper. No good. And Trey Smith might have gotten a piece of that from behind.
Trey Smith definitely did, Brian, get a piece of that, enough to bother Tony's shot, and then comes up with the defensive rebound.
Here's Legler for Wildwood Catholic as the Crusaders, and normally they want to go, but they're slowing the pace down a little bit as well. In the post, DJ Smith, no good, but a foul. And DJ Smith did a good job of slipping a screen. They were running a double staggered screen for his brother Trey along the baseline. DJ Smith felt the defender overplaying it, slipped toward the basket, took the pass, and was fouled.
Zach Thomas is going to pick up his second.
That's a senior having a very good feel for the game right there, buddy.
Absolutely.
Ooh. DJ Smith, who's about an 88% free throw shooter, misses that one.
Well, the brothers Smith are 1 of 5 from the foul line. That was DJ's first attempt.
Well, the second one's no good as well. And normally 2 free throws is like a wide open layup for DJ Smith, and he just missed both. Here's Fitzpatrick. Goes to Will Neal. Over to Fitzpatrick again in the post, foul, double team, back to Fitzpatrick, fakes and travel.
Yes, he did. And Brian, that time Fitzpatrick, he had a good idea to try and get a little dribble penetration, but really he should have shot that Fowler with the good kick out. Fitzpatrick was wide open, but he wanted to penetrate and he walked.
Here's Freeman. Into the lane, off the glass, and good. Got a good bounce. And it's Catholic by 12. Here is Tony. Kicks. Fitzpatrick fakes. Bounces to Neal on the wing. Neal comes out high to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick spins away from a double team, resets the offense, bounces over to Tony. Tony driving and is fouled by Freeman.
And that personal foul, as Brian said, is on the freshman, number 1, Jalen Freeman. He picks up his second, team's third here in the second half.
Middle trailing by 12. They have the basketball. 3 minutes to go, third quarter. Here's Fowler. Fowler swings it over. Zach Thomas for 3. That's no good. Rebound to DJ Smith. Hands off to Charles Fields. Lobbed ahead to Trey Smith. Back to Freeman. Freeman comes out to DJ Smith. A deep 3. Off the iron, no good. Fitzpatrick the rebound for middle.
He almost shot that from the half-court circle.
Fitzpatrick down the lane. A lot of contact. No good. And Wildwood Catholic the rebound. Here's Trey Smith to Jalen Freeman. Jalen Freeman a deep 3. That's short. Long rebound to DJ Smith. Wildwood Catholic will reset its offense, leading by 12. Trey Smith, dribble drive, bumped and fouled. No shot. Wildwood Catholic will have possession underneath. That might be the 4th on Fowler.
That is the 4th on the senior, Joe Fowler. He picks up his 4th, team's 4th. 2:12 to go here in the third quarter. It's Wildwood Catholic 39, Middle Township 27.
And Trey Smith with it between the circles.
The officials let that ball come into play with 6 Panthers on the court. Zach Thomas was heading towards the bench.
Freeman down the lane, bulls his way toward the basket, lays it up and in.
But this is not ice hockey.
Well, even if it were, there's a 2-minute penalty for too many men on the ice. Here's Tony.
They give him a little grace period.
Down the lane, lost the handle, got it back, then missed the layup. Rebound comes down to Wildwood Catholic. Freeman spins away from pressure, kicks to Trey Smith. The 3 is no good. Rebound loose. Kicked in the corner. Freeman again for 3. That's no good. Rebound Joe Trombetta for middle. Gets it to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick to Trombetta, and he is fouled by Legler, and Trombetta will get 2 shots.
Ryan Legler not happy with that call. He may have gotten all ball, but somewhere down below there had to be a body foul. There looked like, he initially, that's going to be the first personal foul on Legler.
Trombetta makes the first, 1:11 to go third quarter. Wildwood Catholic on top, 41-28. Second free throw is good. And, Middle Township, if not for free throw shooting, they'd really be out of this game. They're 13 for 14 from the line. Now we have a foul called against Neal.
And that is not a good foul for 2 reasons. One, it was 90 feet from the basket. Well, I should say that's 2, because 1, it was that's Will Neal's 4th personal foul.
Freeman, center of the floor, lobs it across to Legler. Legler across the division line. Legler to the basket, wild shot, no good. It's going to go off of Wildwood Catholic and out of bounds.
And that was Ryan Legler's first field goal attempt of the game. 59 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Fitzpatrick with it. Holding. Backs away to break a 5-second count. Now gets it to Ray Arnold, who came in the game for the first time just a moment ago. Here's Fitzpatrick. Goes to Neal. Neal to Tony. Tony trying to get around Freeman. Tony into the lane, kicks. Arnold back to Neal. Neal down the lane. Finger roll is good for Will Neal. And it's a 10-point game with 26 seconds to go in the quarter.
Possession arrow, we have not had a jump ball in the quarter, so it should be Wildwood Catholics to start the fourth.
Here is
Meaning
Freeman.
Catholic will probably hold for the last shot.
Spinning into the lane, jumper no good, short.
Or not.
Rebound taken by Fitzpatrick and throws it off of a Wildwood Catholic player and out of bounds. 4.4 seconds to go in the third quarter. Joe Falla, even though he has 4 fouls, will come in as he's a shooter. See if Middle can get off a shot here.
Yeah, right now, Middle Township has Will Neal and Joe Falla both in the game with 4 fouls.
Here's Fitzpatrick. Goes up across the timeline, spins away, and before the buzzer sounds. So at the close of 3 quarters, it is 41-31. Wildwood Catholic on top of Middle Township. Back after this on 98.7 The Coast, WCZT. Township 41-31. But you know, buddy, flow of the game, it just seems like Wildwood Catholic should have a larger lead here. I mean, they've really controlled this game, but, you know, Middle Township is still, you know, within striking distance. And remember, earlier this week, Middle Township was trailing Ocean City by 13 at the end of 3 quarters and came back and forced overtime. Here's Falla for Middle. Hands off to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick now center of the floor, hands off to Tim Tony. Tony off a ball screen. Goes to Falla in the corner. Falla holds, puts the ball on the floor, drives baseline, stripped, and it goes out of bounds.
A 10-point deficit with the way Middle Township has played. I agree with you 100%, Brian. You think this game would be out of reach. But that being said, this is a big possession, as every possession will be big now for the Panthers to cut into this lead.
Middle has gotten it to 10 a few times and has not gotten it any closer in this second half. First possession of the fourth quarter. Here's Laverne Fitzpatrick, bounces in the corner to Will Neal. Neal back to Falla, to Tony, to Arnold. Now it's swung to Falla again. Cross court to Arnold. Arnold back to Fitzpatrick. 3 on the way. Short. Rebound off of Middle and out of bounds.
And right now, Middle Township just cannot get the ball to bounce their way.
Oh, wild pass. And it was actually caught by Tom Farraco on the Middle Township bench, so a turnover by Wildwood Catholic.
And that was back in the day, Brian, that was within Farraco's range.
Whether it was or wasn't, he would have shot it anyway.
Absolutely. When the bus used to pull into the parking lot, Tommy started letting them go.
Here's Fitzpatrick for 3, no good. Rebound, Caleb Fields for Wildwood Catholic. Fields across the timeline, picked up by Ray Arnold. Lobbed in the high post at the cave, turns and faces, puts the ball on the floor, hands it back to Caleb Fields, resets the offense. Wildwood Catholic by 10, 6:50 to go in the game. Fields down the lane, scoop shot off the glass, no good. Rebound to Neal. Neal got it to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick bounces to Tony. Tony on the wing. Fakes, drives, kicks across. Foul it for 3. Bang!
And that gets Middle Township within 7. 6:30 to go. And Wildwood Catholic's going to need a timeout, Brian.
So 41-34 now. Wildwood Catholic leading Middle. 6:32 left in the game. Back after this on 98.7 The Coast. Back at Atlantic City High School, Middle Township is as close as they've been since really the first quarter. As Wildwood Catholic still with a 41-34 lead. And we have 6:32 to go in the basketball game.
And Wildwood Catholic coach Dave DeWeese called a quick timeout.
That's a good timeout, too. Some might say try to play through that. I'm a firm believer. You can call timeout. The mistake is calling a timeout too late. It's never a mistake to call one too early. Wildwood Catholic up ahead of the play. DeCave got the rebound, tossed it across. Official signal initially was to give the ball to Middle Township, but now I think they're going to come together and say the ball was tipped by Middle, so Wildwood Catholic will get possession.
And again, when Middle Township needs that bounce to go their way, it just has not happened.
Trey Smith working against Tim Tony. Lobs to DeCave. DeCave holds. Got it back to Smith in the corner to Legler. Legler for 3. That's not a good shot there if you're Catholic. That was a contested 3, but DeCave kept the rebound alive for the Crusaders.
It was a contested 3, and Ryan Legler was falling back.
Down the lane is Trey Smith. He is fouled by Fitzpatrick.
And that will be the second personal foul on the 5'10 senior guard, Laverne Fitzpatrick. His second, team's 6th. And as Brian said, that's going to send Trey Smith to the line to shoot 2. Smith, 1 of 4 from the charity stripe.
Ooh, missed that one.
The charity stripe that has not been very charitable to Trey Smith tonight, this afternoon.
Second free throw is good. (42-34), Middle on top. Wildwood Catholic on top, middle of the ball. Tony to Fitzpatrick, swung to Neal. Neal thought about a 3, wasn't open, goes back to Tony, top of the key. Tony down the lane, stripped by Legler, gets the ball back momentarily, but it's flicked away by Caleb Fields. Here comes Wildwood Catholic, leading by 8. Trey Smith, down low, Charles Fields, lost it, stripped by Fitzpatrick, and it goes out of bounds off of Middle.
Middle Township trying, the players out there on the floor begging a little bit, trying to get that call, but it does not go their way.
Legler having trouble getting it in, finally gets it out to Fields. And Fields with it, takes a ball screen from DeCave, can't get free, goes to Trey Smith for 3. No good. Rebound batted around, and it's going to go off of Wildwood Catholic and out of bounds. Trey Smith tried to sell a foul over there, and the official was having none of it.
Yeah, and I don't blame the official. And again, that wasn't a good shot for Wildwood Catholic at this point. When you're up 8 in the fourth quarter, you do not need, and he didn't have a real good look at the basket, Brian.
Tony
kind of shot it off balance.
Got it to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick fakes, kicks to Neal. Neal holds, goes to Tony. Tony down the lane, floater. Oh, what a move by Tim Tony. And we have a 6-point game here at 42-36. Trey Smith lobs ahead, stolen away by Will Neal. Neal got it to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick in the corner. Fowler back to Neal. Here's Tony, head of the circle. Pass tipped, but now it's Fitzpatrick.
Tony was lucky there. That was a lazy
Fitzpatrick
pass.
is fouled by Legler. And, you know, you wonder, buddy, a Wildwood Catholic team that's played fast all year is all of a sudden trying to take the air out of the ball, and you wonder if they really know how to play that way.
Well, with
bad shots and turnovers. Here's Tony, and he is fouled.
And the Middle Township faithful is really starting to come to life as the Panthers are showing a lot of fight here in the fourth quarter. And
Patrick with it for the Panthers. 4:29 to go. They trail by 6. Wildwood Catholic has led this from the start. They had a lead as high as 13 earlier in this half. Ray Arnold for 3. No good. That's not a good shot for Middle. Here is Wildwood Catholic running. Oh, great pass from Charles Fields to his brother Caleb, and he lays it in.
And that was great penetration.
Tony down the lane, back to Arnold. Fowler for 3, off the iron, no good. Rebound, Caleb Fields. Bounces out to Trey Smith. Smith across the timeline, kicks to Charles Fields. Down the lane, scoop shot is good. Now all of a sudden, Catholic back up by 10. Middle was down 6 with the ball a little bit ago. Tony down the lane, and offensive foul. Barreled into Mike DeCave.
DeCave doing a good job that time in help defense as he stepped up, took away that penetration, and Tim Tony guilty of that offensive foul. His second, team's 7th.
Catholic with the basketball, up 10, 3.5 to go. Here's Trey Smith holding against Tony. Down the lane, passes off to DeCave, and the layup is good. I thought for a moment DeCave might try to dunk that.
And that's DeCave's first field goal attempt of the game.
Here is Ray Arnold in the corner for 3, in and out, rebound to Legler. Legler is fouled.
Well, Brian, it was 42-36, as you had said. Middle Township with the ball. They could not convert, cut into the lead, and now Wildwood Catholic on their defensive effort with a 6-0 spurt back up to a comfortable 12-point lead with 3:04 left to play in this game. And the biggest lead, Wildwood Catholic had was 37-22 to start the third quarter. They were actually up 15. So, you know, Middle Township at that point, it looked like they might wither and break, but they did not. They showed a lot of, fight and wherewithal, but Joe Fowler, the senior, just picked up his 5th foul.
Yeah, so that's what the delay was for, is Tom Ferracco, Middle's coach, took all of the 22nd allotted time to put Joe Trombetta into the game. Here's Legler at the line for a 1-and-1. And it's good. That is Ryan Legler's first point of the game.
Legler with just 2 field goal attempts. 1 2-pointer and 1 3 that he missed both.
Second free throw is good. Timeout Wildwood Catholic. 49-36, 3:04 to go in the game. Or 50-36, excuse me. 3:04 to go in the game. Back after this on 98.7 The Coast. And he'll go to the line for free throws here for a 1-and-1.
And they call that foul on Ray Arnold, the 5'11 senior guard, his first, team's 9th.
Free throw is good by Trey Smith. He has 11 points. Struggled at the line today. 3 for his first 6. Nick at 3 for 7. He missed that one as well. Caleb fields the rebound, but then lost it. Ray Arnold picked it up. Here's Tony. Down the lane to the basket, and he is fouled. Charles Fields got a block cleanly up top, but bumped him with the body, and he'll go to the line for 2 shots.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a nice block, all ball, but he did get him. He got Tony hard with the body. 33.3 seconds to play here in this basketball game. Tony at the line, and Charles Fields picked up his 3rd, team 7th.
Tony missed the first. Second free throw is also good. Or is good. He missed the first one. Here's a pass stolen momentarily by Zach Thomas, but then he couldn't keep it in bounds. Ryan Legler picks up the loose ball.
And that foul is going to be on Laverne Fitzpatrick. His 3rd, team's 10th. It's going to send Ryan Legler to the line shooting 2. Legler's only points in tonight's game have come from the foul line. A shooter's touch on that one.
Patrick Vodges checks into the game for Wildwood Catholic. And Legler doesn't make the second. It's 56-42. 25 seconds to go. Here's Arnold for 3. That's good. Inbounding is Catholic. Ooh, nearly stolen away by Arnold. It's 56-45, Catholic on top. Just 12 seconds to go, however. Legler to inbound, bounces it into the cave. Back to Legler. Legler lobbed it up to Pat Vodges, who just checked in. Vodges stops, goes to the cave, and that'll do it. 56-45. Wildwood Catholic, your winner. And we're going to take a break. We'll come back right after this on 98.7 The Coast. Hey, give us 3 minutes. 3 minutes. All right, hey, we're going to do an interview real quick. So. Atlantic City High School, Wildwood Catholic wins it 56-45. Joining us real quick here post-game is Wildwood Catholic coach Dave DeWeese. And Dave, except for a couple minutes there, early in the fourth quarter. Your kids really controlled this game.
They did. They responded. We knew that Middle was going to make runs in the second half. That's what we talked about at halftime. They made a nice run at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and our kids were able to come back from it. I mean, I credit that to what happened last night. You know, we play in the games like we played last night to get better in those types of situations. The games that we've lost this year have been because we haven't been able to respond to other teams' runs. Today, we were able to respond to every run that they threw at us.
And Dave, talk a little bit about that. Last night against Cherokee, you go up there to Bishop Eustace, you lose 61-55, and obviously your team, people that have been following your team, you guys score a lot of points. Tonight, or this afternoon, you come back and you win a game, scoring 56 points and holding the opponent to 45. And how important it is to be able to play in that tempo as well.
Now we have struggled to play that way so far this year. You know, we just instituted the up-tempo offense, so we spend an awful lot of time in practice on that, and we probably haven't spent enough time on situations like this where the game's going to slow down. Tonight, I think we showed we can play at that pace. We executed, I thought, very well on the offensive end. Our response to their run in the fourth quarter was, I think, 3 or 4 layups. Backdoor cuts, guys taking the ball to the basket, which is an important aspect of our offense that we haven't been utilizing. You know, we've been relying pretty much on the three-point shot, and we need to get that part of our game going too. And then the combination of the two can make us a very dangerous team.
And at that point, it's dialed back to the fourth quarter. You're up 42-36. Middle Township has the ball. They have the ball. Defensively, you guys make a play, you get it back. You cap that off with an 8-0 run, 50-36. Basically, at that point, game over.
Yep.
And it was defensive driven.
It was defensive driven, and I got to give a shout out to Charles Fields. I mean, he had an absolute outstanding game tonight. He played hard as can be. He played great on the defensive end of the floor. He played very well on the offensive end of the floor. For me, just from my observations from the sideline, he had an outstanding game.
Real quick, Dave, one more, we'll let you go. This was a huge game for you in terms of a couple of things. Power points for state playoffs and seeding for CAL playoffs. I think, you never know how it's going to shake out, but this win will probably give you a first-round home game in states, and it certainly is going to solidify you as certainly one of the top 4 seeds in the CAL tournament.
Yeah, this was obviously a huge game for us tonight. Aside from the rivalry between the two schools, for power points and for the CAL seeding, we were hoping to get last night's game for the power points, to be honest, but hopefully this one's enough to get us over get us up to 8 or 7 in South B.
All right, we'll let you go. I know you need to get in with your team, but congratulations on the win. Wildwood Catholic wins it 56-45 over Middle Township.
Thank you.
You got it. That's Wildwood Catholic coach Dave DeWeese.
Is there a rivalry between these two teams?
Allegedly. But this was, it's interesting, but middle coach Tom Ferracco, I saw him turn to one of his assistants late in the game when obviously it got out of hand. And he turned to one of his assistants here on the bench and actually said, maybe I should have called timeout when we got it to 42-36. And obviously, and that's hindsight, he's going to doubt himself there. Maybe he was thinking that his kids expended a lot of energy to get back to that point, and maybe he felt like he should call a timeout. But you're running a fine line there. One of the things that high school coaches get criticized about, buddy, especially in basketball, is overcoaching. And when you're on a big run like that, sometimes the last thing you want to do is call timeout. In hindsight, obviously it worked out for Wildwood Catholic. They go on an 8-0 run and put the game away. But, it's those little things that go on in games, and you have a guy who's won over 700 career games doubting himself as to whether I should have called that timeout or not.
Absolutely. And, Brian, you could not have described that any better. They're trailing, 42-36. And they have the ball. So you have the ball, you're set up you have a good spread, you have your offense doing what you want it to do. At that point, if you call a timeout, now you got to worry about getting it inbounds.
Right. You're right. But the only thing that that Middle had there was at 42-36. After 4 or 5 really good possessions in a row, they had a bad possession. They had a contested three-point shot taken by probably their 4th or 5th best three-point shooter. They miss. Wildwood Catholic gets a layup down the other end. Then there was another miss or a turnover and a quick layup. And all of a sudden, after you had the deficit down to 6 with the ball, about 25 seconds later, all of a sudden, you're down 10. And you could just see the air go out of the Middle Township balloon. And especially late, Joe Fowler fouls out. Middle doesn't have a lot of depth this year due to injuries. They've got 2, 6'4" kids that they thought really would help them that are both out for the year. And, it was really done from there. And you got to give Wildwood Catholic a lot of credit for the way they performed defensively. I mean, let's face it, the jury's been out on this team. Everybody knows they can score, but Middle's not a great offensive team. But, the way Wildwood Catholic plays defense, if they're going to hold people in the 40s offensively, they're going to have great chances to win.
Well, absolutely. And we talked about that leading up to this game, about the tempo. If this game was in the 50s, it was going to give Middle Township an excellent opportunity to win. I actually thought if the game would have stayed in the 40s, the high 40s, Middle Township's shot would have been even better. But Catholic got it up to 56, and as you just said, they showed that they can adjust after, and Coach DeWeese brought up a good point. You go up to Bishop Eustace last night, you lose to one of the South Jersey top 10 teams in Cherokee. In that type of a game where Cherokee comes and outscores you, you go into the third quarter, you're winning, and you get outscored 22-12, and you end up losing a game that you could have and should have won. So you have to take something away from that, a teachable moment, a coachable moment, and as long as you're doing that as the season progresses, as we get deeper into February and get ready for the CAL tournament now, and then the state playoffs, those are the things that you can use as a positive.
All right, so that'll do it from here.